The Spin-Off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Lipton green tea is a simple way to up your everyday healthy habits. Green tea contains flavonoids, which are naturally occurring bioactives found in tea, vegetables, and fruit. Just 2 cups of Lipton green tea can help support health by providing approximately the same amount of flavonoids as eating 20 pounds of cooked broccoli. Available in new signature blend green tea and new lemon peach and honey ginger green tea. Try new Lipton green tea today.
Kia ora koutou, welcome to The Real Pod. This is your reality TV and popular culture in Aotearoa podcast featuring me, Alex KC, Duncan Grave.
Kia ora.
And where's Jane? Now, you won't know about this, Duncan. I hears laughing. This is a hilarious personal joke that we have on the podcast. Whenever you're not there, we have a segment called Where's Duncan?
I'm never
Because you're not in the room
podcast.
and because you clearly do not listen to this podcast. You could not join me in that.
Oh, no.
A great sadness.
I should listen to it, shouldn't I?
It's got good stuff in it.
Well, I hear. My sources tell me it's better.
Big Mum is on Holly Bob's at the moment.
She earned it.
She's earned it. She's left us to kind of pick up the scraps of this podcast. And we've done it before, and I think we'll do it again. Well, we'll get to the end of this, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident about that. And I feel like Te Ahia has spent a few weeks being a modern Māori in a quartet formation. That's all finished. The high, it's gone. He's back to slumming it. With the real pod. Yeah, that's tough.
How was the big Friday night? The finale.
It went really well.
Yeah?
It went really well, thank you. I've never seen so many like drunken but also euphoric boomers and Gen Xers in one place.
That accurately describes me about 10 days back.
I had heard separate feedback from someone apropos of nothing, who said they went to see the show and that you were the standout. And they loved it. And they said, the presence on that man. And I was like, that's our podcast producer.
Yeah.
He sits there and records us talking rubbish.
And we act like it's nothing. It's not nothing.
Do we need to do the, I don't know what the links are. This podcast can be found on Google.
Wow. That really was... Even
That's
my real
proper.
pod standards.
If you want to
I think-
go-to lazy option, you can say that the links are all in the episode description.
The links
Which
are
they
all in
are.
the episode description.
And
Cut out you saying that and then just cut to me saying it.
we're on Facebook, we're on Discord. I would argue, I'm not on Facebook, so I couldn't, but I have seen the Discord and it pops.
Does
it
it?
slaps, yeah.
Well, the Real Pod Corner still exists as well.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/something. Google it.
That was great. I think that should be... We could clip that for sure.
I don't know if you can Google Facebook. Like, can you Google stuff? I don't know. You should know.
Can you Google stuff?
Can you Google stuff on Facebook? Like, can you... It doesn't matter. Coming up on the podcast, we've got the cast of FBOY Island NZ. A huge crop of lads. 20!
That's too many. Like,
Arguably not enough.
Actually, I do think... Well, no, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I think it's an achievement. I think there's a national cultural achievement buried in there that we should not let go unnoted.
Well, it's interesting that the cast... We'll get into it. Sorry, I'm trying to do the professional thing. Coming up on the podcast, we have the FBOY Island NZ cast. A slew of celebrity run-ins over the weekend and all the action from Celebrity Treasure Island and the Block NZ. But first, the real news. Not bad, right?
Wow.
In the scheme of things, not the worst thing you've ever heard. Like,
I mean, I think if you were just not doing like live, doing the thing and then doing commentary, kind of pillaring yourself for the quality of your thing. And people would just be like, well, that's just
They
how
just
it's
buy
done.
it, but
Yeah.
I refuse.
No,
Just simply too
it's not
self-aware.
the way.
I like the stream of consciousness, just like self-doubt
you.
the entire way.
Thank you.
It's good
Seems
to have
healthy.
the interior and exterior monologues. Dialoguing.
It's a multifaceted production. Let's talk about the Mighty ABs, shall we? We both went to the All Blacks on the weekend.
I had no idea that you were such a big fan. Did you go to both games? Did
This
you go to
was
the Mighty
my,
BFs? With your Mighty BF? No,
Didn't
you
go to the
didn't.
Mighty BFs. I was at the mall.
The whole day?
Yeah.
Were you doing like a bed in at the mall?
I was.
With John Lemon?
And then I realised, well, I've already got my tickets for the, October 8th. We're all excited to see the girls and see Rita.
That's true.
That I just went to the ABs. But this was my first time seeing a rugby game at Eden Park.
Wow.
Well, the All Blacks at Eden Park, I should say. And I loved it. And I get it. And I wore a beanie and I did the face
You
paint.
had the face paint. Like, I wasn't with the plebs, but
You were in the corporate box.
I was in the New Zealand Rugby corporate box. I was 3 rows behind Taika Waititi. And I
Unbelievable.
called it. There was a fresh celebrity dropped, and everyone was like, "Oh, who's that?" And I was like, "That's Rachel McAdams." And I was really close, I think.
Who
in
was
this
it?
game. It was Elizabeth Banks.
Amazing. What? Okay. So meanwhile, I was with people with a capital P, and all I saw was Hayden from Married at First Sight NZ, baby.
That's one of those ones that you almost don't want to see, where you have to sort of...
And we had a moment, when you see people in public in like a crowd, and
Yeah.
we caught each other's eye. I had it like distinctly. I was like, "You're the only man who's ever proposed to me."
That was the first thought?
That was the first thought.
Incredible.
But we obviously didn't say hi. We didn't talk
No,
to each
because
other.
did you ever formally turn it down?
No.
So it's
I'm
still...
keeping my options open.
Because Jane... Because it was a dual proposal, right? To you and Jane.
That's right. And Jane did marry off
Yeah.
after that. I'm still available.
Just leaving him on scene.
Is there like a statute of limitations on a proposal?
I think he'd have to formally withdraw it.
We've got the ring. So at the very least, it's like
Yeah, you could just bang it on. Just be like, what's up?
next time at the ABs.
I'm surprised that you don't have a sort of a Gollum-ish kind of, should I?
Well, I do sometimes wake up and go, where is the ring? Because I get worried that we've thrown away the Real Pod Museum sometimes.
Yeah.
Because
I do
we've moved
think-
offices and stuff. It's stressful.
We need to get like one of those professional, like people who play pool and they've got like a special thing for their pool cue.
Right.
Or like an assassin. Like a kit that is like a custom suitcase for the Real Pod Museum.
Yeah.
That has all of our treasures have their own special holster.
I'm worried about it. I'm worried it's gone to the op shops.
Do you think if we got a proper like plexiglass display case with interior lighting and stuff, is there anywhere in this office where our colleagues would tolerate it being?
Toilet.
True.
Like a toilet book.
Actually.
Like
Right.
a multimedia toilet book.
At the back of that toilet corridor, where it's quite dimly lit, I feel like people will be like, fine.
Yeah. We could work on it. I wonder how that icing's going. That icing from the Great Kiwi Bake Off Season 1 that Larissa donated to the Real Pod Museum.
Yeah, some ranks. So we're ranking the contents of the Real Pod Museum.
We got to do it.
Future post.
Hey, Alex, real quick, for the rugby game, what did you make of the scrummaging?
You told me to look out for the scrummaging. Multiple times during the game, I yelled, "This man is really injured. Someone help." There were men bleeding from the head, and they went, "Ouch." That's what I thought the whole time.
Yeah, that's a pretty
That's
good
why,
take.
that's why we pay the big bucks, though.
Well, it's like gladiators, isn't it?
It's like 100
It's the modern gladiators.
Yeah.
That's why you go. And I did get a photo with the Kiwi representative, the large Kiwi of the All Black, like the big
What?
soft Kiwi.
Oh, what?
Just like a big Kiwi.
Like not a member of the All Blacks.
No.
Okay.
No. Big Kiwi. And he was walking away with the woman who's the World Cup
Where is
woman.
this going?
People who know their mascots know what I'm talking about. Big Kiwi. woman of the World Cup.
Clip this.
They were walking together, being rushed to go and do their mascot duties on the field. And Joe made me stop them and get a photo. And the Kiwi was like, just quickly, hurry up.
Wow.
And I was like, shit.
It's flightless but not speechless.
Not speechless.
Kiwi.
And you're saying that there's a woman of the World Cup as well, who's
Yes.
also a logo? Oh,
A
sorry,
mascot,
a
yeah.
mascot?
Yeah. I don't really know what I think she's a humanoid.
Was there a vibe between the two mascots?
There kind of was. And what creeped me out is you could see their human feet under the Kiwi feet when their feet would flap up. Not unlike Flappy Shoe, which is a deep
That's a
cut.
very deep cut.
Have we been recording for an hour? I forgot we were doing a broadcast.
The podcast awards.
No,
this
is
too soon, so.
It's a narrow cast.
Jane is shaking her damn head. Also, other celebrities that I saw from the reality TV multiverse. The Mole from The Bachelorette at the mall, actually. Josh from The Bachelorette at the mall. And that was all. But I think that was pretty good.
That's a pretty good haul for like a normal day.
Yeah, but
But I've already laid out 2 top trumps.
when you texted and said Taika is a fan of the real pod,
That was a
I
little
bought
joke.
it. I bought it so hard.
I feel like you all are too credulous. Like, I think we would know if that were true.
Well, you're telling me Rachel House listens to the real pod.
Yeah,
They hang out.
that's
They
true.
probably have listening parties.
So I saw mini celebs.
Yeah.
I walked in. Well, first off was I chose to take the stairs rather than share an elevator with Mally the Mallard, Trevor. Just not because he knows who I am or because I have any profound enmity, but we have had one phone call and it was, I think you were there for it. It was a little bit tense. I was just like, I don't want that energy. So get up the stairs and who's there but Ronnie Clark.
Amazing. Singing?
No, but I was like, at any moment he could burst into the most extraordinary song. And then you get into like the New Zealand rugby box at these events is unbelievable. It's not the most, like it probably has the most celebrities per square inch, like equal with a TVNZ reality TV launch, but they're just all so different because you've got all the like these rugged former All Blacks and all these politicians and all these comedians and then the odd like super duper star power kind of thing. It's just the glorious breadth of All Black fandom.
Amazing.
Very good.
But you didn't work the room. You didn't chat to Taika. You didn't.
No.
You left Miss Banks alone.
I mean, everyone was like with them too. I just talked to my usuals. I talked to Guy Mott.
Nice.
And so he was there with a fellow wearing a Wallabies jersey, which is quite bold.
That is bold.
Oh, I real potted it.
What did you do?
So Mark Robinson, the New Zealand Rugby CEO, was doing his kind of big end of season speech, and during that speech, and I was standing next to Vic O'Connor, Lord's dad, and you know, one of those speeches where you just have to clap almost constantly for just all kinds of stupid things. This is like real embarrassing. And then I just sort of clapped my bottle out of my hand.
No!
And it just goes donk and then just splays out everywhere in front of all of the dignitaries because they're gathered around to watch the formalities. And then I go down to pick it up and I've got Nikki's phone and my phone in my shirt pocket and they both go and I pick up the bottle and it's still spewing. I'm scratching around trying to pick up my phones.
Pants rip.
Break wind in the most extravagant way. No, like there was just so many former All Blacks just looking at like what, and they're all dressed in black and it says to dress sort of semi-formal. I'm wearing just sort of street urchin clothes and I'm just scratching around at this carpet, ruining everything. It's just... And everyone, all of my little party of 4 is just cracking up at me in the worst way. And everyone else is just like disgusting. So that was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's the real pod.
That's the real
That's
pod
the
right
real
there.
pod.
Yeah, I should have yelled that out.
Yeah, it's just the real. Then Taika might have known.
Yeah.
I still think there's a chance.
I don't think there's a chance.
How else would he stay in touch with the people of New Zealand? You know, and what the people
Almost
really.
any other way.
I just don't think so. You met Lynette Forday as well.
Yes.
Huge week for celebrity meetups.
Huge week. So I'm crossing the Morningside train tracks, which honestly, not a bad place to stand if you want to just collect some rando celebs at the moment. And And I'm on a real tight schedule, as you know. I got like about 20 minutes to have a 45-minute meeting, but still, see Lynette 4-day, say something, right? And so I was like, I'm a huge fan. And she looked at me and goes, are you serious? And then it honestly took about 40 seconds to convince her that I wasn't just like fucking with her. And then I was like, no, we do a podcast from the spin-off. She's like, oh, I'm a huge fan of yours. And I think it might have been the spin-off and not the real part, but who knows?
Probably gone by lunchtime.
Let us know. Yeah, absolutely. I should start introducing myself as Toby Manhire. That wouldn't. No, people would know. People would know. But look, I'm not going to break her confidences, but she said some things which were very spicy. We exchanged telephone numbers.
Amazing. And
I've invited her onto this podcast, and I think at some point this season we should get her on because it feels like there's tea around.
Can I ask, what was she doing? Was she walking perhaps 6 kilometres a day?
She was easily, yeah. I mean, she was flying.
Yeah.
And...
Caftan?
Yeah,
no.
I don't think she was wearing a caftan.
Sequin scarf? No.
No. But... Oh, I can't say. But, okay, I'm not going to put her phone number out here. I'm not going to dox her. But she's got probably the best phone number I've ever heard. Let's just put it that way.
Is it 0800 for Lynette?
It's in that. No!
Holy shite. Did you see any celebrities on the weekend, Sarah here?
I did not.
Well, you must have looked in the mirror.
Oh, I did look in the mirror.
Why wouldn't you?
Because I stayed home the entire weekend and recovered from several weeks worth of burning the candle at both ends. It was really nice.
So that's sensible. That's good behaviour.
Watched Celebrity Treasure Island.
This coming week?
Mm-hmm.
What a week.
This coming week?
The week we're talking about right now.
Yep.
We're time traveling. But just before we get on to Celebrity Treasure Island, I want to talk about FBOY Island. Did you manage to look at the cast list?
I did, actually, yeah.
20 lads. Half of them are nice guys, half of them are F-boys.
So how do you audition? Do you say I'm a nice guy or I'm an F-boy? Because I almost feel like self-identification might not be the best way of getting the biological truth of who you are as a person.
And also, I'm wary of people who self-identify as nice guys.
Worst guys, right?
I don't know, but I do think I don't think there's like a test. I think they do come in with...
It's not genealogy.
I don't think there's any
biology.
like 1, 2, 3 me sort of spit test type thing.
Imagine if they could.
Although...
And then you could go out on a date and just be like, do you mind?
Yeah. Highlights for me include Cooper, who has a tattoo of Harley Quinn on his arm, very large. Loves Margot Robbie. Quite a few people love Margot Robbie in their bios.
Wow.
A man called Wade, who self-published a book in 2020 about how to overcome tall poppy syndrome. Could go either way. Could go either way. Jesus Christ, they did not deserve a laugh. But here we are. But that would be a good sort of ID for him on the show. Could go either way.
Yeah.
A lot of the men have names that don't sound real, like Cooper Lambert, Greg Hunter, John Middleton, Logan Brown.
This is
they all just
Dali 2 names.
Yeah, but it does say something that we've managed to pull 20 lads together.
Now, this is what I want to talk about because I remember, and this was like something we've discussed multiple times on this podcast over the years, that there was basically a thesis that you could not do The Bachelorette in New Zealand. Such was the limited pool to fish from. And I think that was true at the time. And that was a combination of, the sort of general reticence of the New Zealand character and the types of blokes that our sort of factories were creating at the time. But I'm proud of us as a nation that some combination of the ubiquity of Love Island in particular and the rise of social media and just the change in what is the range of acceptable things for a chap to do in New Zealand is such that we can just smash out 20 plausible F-boys. That's just well done us.
They're not all from main centres either, right?
No.
Where's the most far-flung place somebody's from?
We've got a couple of That's far flung.
Where's that?
East End cheeky chappy.
From
London.
London.
London's East End. I mean, there's a Casey, Sam Casey, no relation,
Well,
that we know of. And there's only one returning. So there's Nathan, who was on Lexi's season of The Bachelor, who you may remember as a man who went home quite early.
Nope.
Played the guitar. He was the one who got biffed before they went on their lads' trip to Queenstown at the last minute. The mole was revealed. Her sister-in-law or whatever, who said, I think Nathan's not a good match. So this is his second chance at love. He is 30, the oldest by far in the competition. Real concerning. This is starting October 12th. We're in trouble. We've got a lot of shows to watch.
But we're about to drop 2 shows that, to be fair, probably it's time.
This is true. We're going to ignore the Masked Singer this week because it was just a humble recap.
What made them?
They did this last time.
Was that something to do with the Queen?
Oh, possibly.
That is what she would have wanted.
Out of respect. The blue penguin is the Queen and they don't know how to cut around it. Imagine that.
That'll be the ultimate get.
She probably did have a lovely singing voice. Do you think?
It's honestly impossible to tell.
What's the deal with old people and singing?
Clip that. Jerry Seinfeld. Is that the end of the podcast? Is that just it? Their voices weaken.
On for Masked Singer, the block. We're not doing the block anymore after this week. Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, I don't even know what's going on with the block. They seem to be sort of tacitly admitting they're just going to keep doing it, even though there's nothing yet to be done. And
next week they're doing
done.
Best House. Redo, do 5 things the judges have told you, something challenge. And then I think we're at the auctions. So
okay, so the auctions have already happened. That's another thing to note.
Is that
they were not
secret?
live. No, Nikki just figured it out from watching it on the
Barfoot and Thompson television.
But they didn't make them public. But she's got this theory that happy birthday, Nikki, by the way.
Happy birthday.
She's got this theory, and I think it makes sense, that basically that they were very concerned about the potential outcomes, given that we've been slumping in terms of the housing market, that they could all have been underwater in terms of whatever they might have imagined their reserves were prior to the show. So they basically had to sort of do the auctions in advance and then kind of figure it out a bit. But I'm very concerned for the likes of Ben and Quinn, for example, who took 3 months off, and I think they were relying on this based on, remember, last year's big bucks paydays. I'm just worried that this might be another, you actually owe Warner Brothers $50,000 for going on the block. Is that possible?
It's not impossible. Does this mean it was live last, so we won't have no live auction?
No live auctions unless they shot it but NDA'd everyone.
How can you NDA but there'll just be randoms who were there and Nikki, with a fake moustache in the room.
yeah. Totally plausible. That's probably going to be on FBOY Island. I don't know how it all works, but the auctions have happened. So
controversial.
Riddle me that. Harley Quinn.
And what is the deal with old people and singing? Do we play a sting for when we do the recap?
Yeah.
Reality check.
Reality check.
Okay. Should we do that now?
Play that sting.
I have 4 weeks to decide I'm going to drop my entire life.
I am disgusted at how much you have copied my husband.
It's fine. I don't even know you.
Reality check.
Shock self-elimination to begin this week on Celebrity Treasure Island.
Self-immolation, yeah. It was sad.
Cassie Roma was so moved by Alex King's response to Mike taking himself out that she reflected and said, she said something like she had only been home for 13 days
out of 5 months.
500 years or something.
The good thing is that, that was all very moving. And
yes.
Love Cassie, big fan, but also managed to shade Mike King. for
True.
hearing Alex King's plaintive cries and being like, yeah, I'm still going to go. if that's all right. So it's good to get a twofer where you get the emotional revelation from Cassie, and that was really meaningful, but also you couldn't help but also, come on, mate.
Yeah, just crop dust on your way out.
Villain's got a Val.
So she took herself home. That was very sad. What else happened? I think Courtney had that secret power trip piece of paper that said she can choose the new captains. There's a merge coming, and she's going to be the captain of one of the teams, and she can choose the other captain.
And first pick. It was a wildly powerful token.
So when she said the game was in her hands, she wasn't lying.
She wasn't lying. She's a great competitive, Courtney. I back Courtney. Also, the Shania Alliance was revealed.
Called by one Duncan Grieve again.
That's
early on in the spin-off's content. There's a lot of Shania all the way through this show.
Blair...
Jesse.
Blair. Damn it. I was so close to cut that.
Blair Witch.
He really, I love that that's true of him. And I love that he's saying, like, no one was listening. Also, no, he's not really an older gentleman, is he? I'm just trying to figure out what's the deal with old people and singing.
Well, I wonder... We're gonna jump around a lot here because I don't want to follow the thing,
and we don't have
the
lady.
Jesse and Courtney,
right?
Could it be a showmance?
I mean, they're both coupled up outside, and we're not wanting to.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
But look, Nikki and I both said the same thing. There was chemistry.
They seem to know each other very well. In that liar game, they couldn't bluff each other.
And they were looking
interesting.
There were sparks fly.
We haven't really had that on one of these shows, have we?
No, which is weird because there's nothing else to do.
No,
you're really quite short of activities.
There's only so many TikTok dances you can do.
I forgot about that Captain's Challenge chemistry, and then the stuff that happens at the end. Towards the endurance challenge thing.
Yeah.
That throws that into a buzzy light when he's trying to communicate.
That's right.
Clandestine.
He's like, Courtney, wait. Yeah.
And she's like, anyway, jumping ahead.
No, but it's there's basically so many crossed alliances.
There's so much going on. There's the Spice Girls. The Backstreet Boys.
Oh my God, can we just talk about the Spice Girls and just how well cast that was?
So
and if he was doing that off the top of his head.
Ron Cribb, straight off the top of the dome, who Cassie was Baby, Scary, Melody, Dame Susan is Sporty, Courtney is Posh, and Karen or Siobhan is
I think
Ginger.
They should have gone with Siobhan just for sort of, like visually that scans better. But wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it. There's so much going on. And then there's the sibling alliance with Siobhan and Elvis and Cam.
The girls' allowance plus Mike King. Allowance.
There's the girls' allowance, which increasingly seems to be flooded with men.
That kind of scans, right?
It was just a huge week. Also, oh my God, we are not following any kind of structure here. But the challenges this week. Oh. Just the best week for physical challenges, the scale of them, the physicality.
The pushy one?
Pushing that giant X and them just screaming at each other.
Susan, age 50-something.
58.
Potentially 58. Quite something. Yeah. Almost beating Courtney, who seemingly does nothing but exercise.
And Susan saying that she nearly blew a foo-foo valve.
Susan said a few lewd things. I don't know what a foo-foo valve is, but
The best thing is, oh my God, when the monolith arrived, and Susan DeBoy was like, it's a peep show.
Wow.
So good to even be thinking about a peep show as a concept in 2022.
Jelly wrestling?
She's just fell.
It's just the raunchiest.
Does she think that there's a peep hole in the monolith that an insider's playing a film?
Or is it live?
Or is it? Are there people in there?
Because I think it might be that they're just sort of waiting. You're just non-stop.
I just love her so much.
Her mind.
Her beautiful mind.
It's creative.
And also that she's up for they did that silly the damatization of her up in her PJs early, poking around the peep show, trying to get into the monolith. Who's that?
That was Manhire.
Oh, damn.
Just wandering around, gone by lunchtime
That's
fans.
what you get here.
That's what you get.
The Dame Susan Devoy of the spin-off officers.
True.
Yeah.
That's a fun game.
Yes.
One day. Not now. Not live. We can't run cribbit. I'm not smart enough to do it at the top of the dome. Do we want a charity challenge? They did twerking.
I skip
Twerked
it. I
balls
skip
out of
it.
their butts, whatever. That's fine.
That can't help but be fine.
What I will say is Lynette, the different tactics. A lot of them just went for the straight twerk. Elvis, Joel, Cam, they seem to be experienced in the ways of the twerk. Lynette immediately threw herself back into like an insane exorcist bridge.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that woman.
But Melody as well, like just handstand walking
Handstand.
real casually, because that's not easy.
When was the last time you did a handstand?
Oh, I can't. I don't have the overhead mobility.
Did I hear?
Nope. We've talked about handstands
I feel
before on
like
this pod, I think. Yeah, recently.
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't want to try. I've done my back in when I was watching The Queen.
Is it disingenuous for these contestants to immediately go and try out really wacky things? Because clearly their challenge is they want to get you on camera twerking and shaking your butt, right?
Yes.
Is it disingenuous of the contestants to immediately go to an exorcist style
To do something
back arch
else.
thing to try and get around it?
But I think it's more interesting.
Yeah.
But
Than
then
twerking.
quite often, talked about this with Liv when we were watching it, it feels like the producers will then for the next round say, oh, this time you're not allowed to touch the ground with your hands, or you have to stay standing. They'll adjust the rules based on the fuckery from the first round.
I think that the general lawlessness of Celebrity Treasure Island, the fact that you can kind of break the game and they just sort of shrug and let it happen, is one of the most attractive qualities about this silly, silly show.
And then they'll be like, for the final deciding round, they'll be like, okay, Lynette, you have to actually drink the water this time.
Yeah.
And not just splash it down your face.
Yes.
Then they merged. And the way they chose the teams
Wow.
was very unusual, with Brianna with her goggles and crystals.
But seemingly almost perfectly sensing who it was and making the teams making them kind of work.
It was sort of a sorting hat situation, but I wonder if she had a small list on the inside of her goggles and a small light telling her...
Or it could be like the chess with the...
Or an earpiece.
Beads.
The who?
The scandal rocking the chess world at the moment.
Oh, no.
This is a bit lewd, but basically Magnus Carlsen, who this I think I profiled him. I think I interviewed him when he was just a teenager. He's this like all-time grandmaster, and he was recently beaten by this person who had no right beating Magnus Carlsen, and it's been there's strong insinuations that this person was basically being signalled by someone who had like access to like a Big Blue style infinite chess variations engine, and they were signalling using electromagnetic like anal beads.
Oh my gosh!
This is a real true scandal. That's what the speculation is at the moment. Yeah,
That's a good
Is
scandal.
there any merit to it? Or is it
I think it's almost certainly true that there is some way that this person was being signalled, because you just can't, like Magnus, he's just very, very, very much the best chess player there has ever been, and it just doesn't make sense that this chappie just shows up and beats him.
We've checked his ears, we've checked his pockets.
Yeah.
We just haven't checked
There's
his
only one option.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's that got to do with this?
Well, I'm not saying Brianna was but I'm not saying it, because
Right.
it was just the teams were too well shaped.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Something's going on. Possibly just that they had a list from producers.
Possibly they just had a list.
So what team dissolved? We got rid of Cody.
Yes.
So it's just Kuaka and Mango now.
Mango's got a lot more prime New Zealand beef,
Yes.
which you saw in the pushy contest. But I do think otherwise they're quite well matched.
I did like in the pushy contest when it was like Ron, maybe TK and then Karen, and you could not even see Karen. Like you could just see the top of her head.
And then there was that good in the moment where Ron was like, I was about to tell Karen to put it back, and he looked across, and one eye was going up, and the other was going sideways.
I love that. I love Ron Cribb.
Yeah, he's weirdly great.
Cribby.
Yeah,
we love him.
Cribbage.
So they won some condiments out of that. I don't know.
I actually low-key think the condiments are the best one.
Really?
Because that's basically makes your rice and beans palatable forever. So you can tactically throw challenges. You're just never going to have a completely rank meal from there on out. But, I mean, obviously it's not exciting like fish and chips, but...
I think Siobhan did have a good point, re the fish and chips, that it's rough on your guts.
Isn't it?
I think so. If you've gone from eating no, like, greasy food. They've been in there for, what, 2 weeks now? 10 days, something?
It's really hard to know.
Maybe a day. I don't know.
That's the thing.
She was like, I didn't even want them anyway. I would have been in the toilet all night.
Can I just say I love Siobhan?
Love Siobhan.
Very funny, very relatable. Feels like us on the show.
Yeah. And she's got so many alliances. She doesn't know what to do with them all.
But she also doesn't even know what an alliance is, seemingly.
She's like, another one?
I don't know, I have to tell Joel. So
Yeah.
It's very funny.
I will say, when I interviewed her, at Treasure Island, she was like, I'm going home tomorrow. She's like, I'm not going to last in this at all. She's like, I can't handle the sun. I have not prepared for any of this. But I often think those people are the ones who just arrive.
Not a threat.
Cold, not a threat.
Paulina's
but just
the
good
same.
with people.
Paulina's just around and just seemingly skating through without, and I think that the people who are like, I'm great at puzzles and I'm an alpha, or I'm just like 130 kilos of, scary muscle, that everyone's got eyes on them all the time and you can just hang back.
What if you just camouflage yourself in a bush?
Yeah, that's true. I can imagine Karen doing that. Karen's very funny, man. Like,
she's got
persistently really funny and quite bold in her interactions with people.
She's switched on. She's seeing everything. We got to the captain's test, which we've already talked about. The chemistry. The Jessie Courtney chemistry. Or just like great, beautiful, blossoming friendship. Whatever, but there's something there.
Yeah, it's got very Ben and Chloe kind of vibes.
But did we learn anything interesting about them? Just the Jessie loved Shania Twain, used to dress up and sing. And that was kind of it, right? I think most of the rest of them, they were all lies, that she had danced with John Campbell, that he had shaved his eyebrows off, that he had broken up with someone in an email. Jessie Chook doesn't do that. Jessie Chook doesn't do that.
Courtney getting banned from an airline for,
Oh, that's right.
It's a saucy show. For 7:30 p.m. Oh,
it is saucy.
And Brianna did a real dirty to camera one.
That's right.
What was it?
About Mitch Chisholm dealing with balls in his social life or something?
No, there was another one too. Like she's quite. Oh, it was something about how do I? I'm going to get off with the rope, and Matt said no. Matt was talking about. I think it was Courtney saying like. She's about to get off or something like that. And Brianna looks dead at camera. She's so fast and just goes, that's not how you do it, Matt, or something like that. It was just like, well done.
Absolute filth. So maybe the monolith is a peep show. Given everything that we know.
I feel like it's a good spin-off piece.
Yeah. What's in the monolith?
No. Celebrity Treasure Island is the horniest show on television.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're going to love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
Lipton green tea is a simple way to up your everyday healthy habits. Green tea contains flavonoids, which are naturally occurring bioactives found in tea, vegetables, and fruit. Just 2 cups of Lipton green tea can help support health by providing approximately the same amount of flavonoids as eating 20 pounds of cooked broccoli. Available in new Signature Blend green tea and new Lemon Peach and Honey Ginger green tea. Try new Lipton green tea today.
Talofa Lover. I'm Madeline Chapman, editor at The Spinoff. If you have the means, consider supporting our high-quality journalism by becoming a Spinoff member. Sign up now at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The monolith
me how.
arrived at the start of episode 11. Everyone was going, what's that big box on the big hill? Dylan Schmidt said, it's obviously something to do with the game. Which I think we can all agree is probably true.
Dylan, yeah, he's sweet.
I love him. They were talking that he could be on The Bachelor, you know? You don't think so?
Well...
He was very interested in FBOY Island when I talked to him about that show at the Treasure Island party. He was like, what, is he telling me half of them are F-boys? And I was like, yeah, man. He's loving it.
I mean, that shot was a very, you could definitely see that. But then he did point out that I think he's 5'7", and he's got an upper bound. So that, does that make it difficult for...
Short king.
Yeah.
It's all the rage. I don't think so.
But he said he got an upper bound.
Right.
So does that mean that you kind of... Because then you basically can't cast anyone over 175 cm as a bachelorette, which takes out probably 25%, 30% of the New Zealand population.
Well, I'd be good for it. Jane would be good for it.
Yeah.
That's two.
That's two.
Who did that knock out? Siobhan, Melody, couple of tallies that were like, we cannot be together because of this and only this.
That's also more showmantic material, though.
It's true. Charity challenge, stacks and biscuits.
Don't watch it.
Do you actually just
I just skip them. I can't stand a charity challenge.
Arnott's do not want to hear this.
I watch this, and I'm almost like, this is the worst part of me. All the charity stuff, I'm like, this is boring. And I skip it.
That's fine. It's a safe space.
I mean, they're lovely charities, like Susan for the aunties. Amazing. But yeah, I just skip it every single time.
Okay, so they stack biscuits with their mouth. That was kind of it.
I kind of get that. Like, we care about hearing about the charities when they are fighting for their lives in the game.
Yes.
And they're talking about it, and there's all of this importance. Whereas the charity challenges
because they're always just a bit silly, and I don't really feel like I gain. I'm so about watching this as sort of survivory kind of weird strategic stuff, which seems to be expanding as the challenges are contracting.
There was a lot of chat about, I think after that challenge, Ron is Thanos. He's holding all the power. He's got all these alliances. At this point, I'm starting to get confused. Can I be honest about who's doing what with what?
I'm completely confused. Another point I'd like to make is I feel like they're right up against the borderline of fair use, or they are singing. Like the Shim Shady and the Backstreet's Back and the Spice Up Your Life, these are non-trivial portions of this. I mean, they are trivial portions of the songs, but given the legal climate around, and the premiums being paid for songwriting catalogues at the moment, if I was an IP lawyer out there cruising for work, I'd be like, I feel like you're... because they're not paying for the rights to any of those, and Bree even noted that they're up against the line. But then did a little wicka Shim Shady.
That's right.
Which I loved, but I'm just like,
And we know Eminem will take action.
He's a litigious man. That's how he makes his money nowadays.
There was even, actually, I think last week when Ia got the crab, Brianna in her VO did she's a savage, killed her, crab, smashed it. And I was like, is that okay? I don't know. But she kind of did the cadence a bit off, probably much like I did just then, to avoid jail.
Oh, yeah, are we now?
Are we on the hook for this?
Oh, no.
I think we fall squarely into the realm of parody.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
Well, I think it's fair use because we are commenting. We are the news in the context of this, and we're commenting on this important news story happening 3 times a week, 7:30 p.m, TVNZ 2.
Fish and chip face-off challenge. This was a great challenge. The seesaw, balancing those balls on the end of the seesaw, so tense, so good. They finally cracked it towards the end when Ron Cribb realised he needed to get low and basically split his boardies.
It was very impressive. Guaca was just terrible at this, by the way. Just absolutely, just useless. It was pretty amazing. I've got to say, TK, he's quite confident in his own abilities, like and like the way that he. I think there was some. Okay, I'm probably getting way out of sync, but the whole thing's out. Like when he talked about going back to get someone who was stuck. You know, like there's quite a lot of me, the hero of my story stuff going on there.
Oh, right.
Which
this is for the digging.
You're way ahead.
Yeah.
You're at the Celebrity Treasure Island Games.
We're
back. No, we're not there yet. But that was basically
he was catching shade for that.
Yeah. So, Karen, I think, has started to.
Karen's like, he talks a lot. He fills the space. It's interesting if you compare Jesse Chuke's performance, how he won that, but still went back and rescued Karen and didn't make a big song and dance about it. It's just interesting. It's interesting to note. But we're not there yet. They won fish and chips. Again, another fair use breach, potentially. Fish and chips makes me want to lick my lips. What's the situation there? APRA?
I feel like is that, what do they call it?
Is it like the national anthem?
I think it might be.
So it's kind of fine.
Creative Commons.
Yeah, I think it's Creative Commons. Fair use. Or is that for commercial use? Hard to know.
If the fish and chips was like brought to you by LJ's, maybe it would be a problem. I don't know.
What's LJ's?
Yeah, Long John Silver. You know.
Is that like swashbucklers?
LJ's.
Do you mean the
fish and chips in the food court? Yeah.
Lynn Mall.
Oldest mall in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually a good feature on our stuff.co.nz written by Simon
Duncan
Day.
Grieve. They ate their fish and chips, blah, blah, blah. Lynette versus Susan, they're starting to talk about who's going to go up against each other in the elimination challenge. And Lynette said something quite intense about Susan, that she said, when someone is that hungry to eat their blood, there's a lot of drive there.
Yeah.
I mean, eat their blood is just intense.
Yeah, but
like eat and not drink.
Is she wrong? Yeah. Yeah. How do you have to really chill the blood, or just reduce it down over a pan?
I don't know. It's going to get to that point, though, eventually on this show. I do believe it. Susan thinks it might be jelly wrestling. For some reason, I don't know how we got here. Oh, Cam is like, Susan, FBI, focus, believe, intimidate. And then poor Dylan Schmidt is like, I thought that meant female body inspector.
That was so
my sweetheart.
good.
And then he got like a bit bashful and was like, no, I only said that when I was like 12.
But then they were like, oh, and you when you were 25. And I'm like...
Leave him alone.
It's still classic. It's like if you see the police, Warner Brother, you know, like these are all great T-shirts.
I pooed. Remember that one?
No.
You know. Maybe I should get into funny teas as a side hustle. So Courtney, in keeping with her female alliance, puts up 2 more women for elimination.
Especially after Cassie's already eliminated herself. Female alliance had a bad week.
Yeah, I don't know. But she's just like, I have to do this for the one female, me, who's going to win. She's putting all her eggs in her own basket. And they do a big, it looks at first just like a toddler puzzle where you have to put shapes inside shapes.
I think that basically is what it is. But Susan was just... all world at this thing. She was consistently twice as fast as Lynette.
Zen master.
Just does not feel the moment at all, which is, I think she's legit for this thing.
And as she said, she's Jesus Christ, it's Celebrity Treasure Island, it's not the world champs.
I know.
So good. It's just like, if you're a world champion.
Multi.
Nothing would faze you, right?
No,
Ever.
No.
Ever.
Race relations, that's fine. It's not the world champs.
It's not the world champs. And Lynette sadly went home. We got Matt Chisholm's emotional eulogy. You conquered your fears and you looked absolutely fabulous right to the end. Love that. And then we get teased again that there's a twist coming that's so big it will change everything that you know. What is it? Peep show and the monolith. I love just all the chat about, because if someone said to me, if I was on an island and I didn't have Google and someone was like, tell me what a monolith is, I reckon I'd probably get a bit confused.
It's quite hard to describe, eh?
And everyone's like, it's a single stone.
That's basically it.
Single stone structure.
Yeah, fine.
Is the thing on One Tree Hill a monolith?
I think that's actually got another name.
Obelisk.
I think but is it an obelisk?
I don't know. Is Stonehenge a monolith? No, because there's many stones.
Many liths.
I feel like we hear the word monolith used as a metaphor more often than the actual meaning of it. Like, that business is a monolith.
Yeah, that's very true. Taika.
Is the spin-off a monolith?
No. Like a mini-lith?
Spin-off is a monolith.
We are a monolith.
It's just good to hear monolith, and it's good to have this big strange thing in the middle of the game.
It's good to have monolith, Scott.
What's that?
Monolith.
Oh, yeah. Good old Cam.
Who is in the Real Pod Discord now.
Whoa!
Anyone who's listening.
Intruder alert.
No, he's welcome.
He's welcome.
You're an intruder. No, you're not an intruder.
So you're telling me Cam Mansell, celebrity, is in the Real Pod Discord chatting away?
By all appearances, answering people's questions. And
Wow. Ask him anything.
You can find the link to that on Google.
He is very good on the television program.
He's so great. I like when they were hanging off that thing and he was just like, oh, look, there's an earwig. He's got a ditziness to him that I like, but I think there's more.
I think
there's more under the surface. Taika injured himself. Slipped down a hill with a backpack on. Seems to have broken his leg in 700 places.
But also, he's got a really high pain threshold. An ordinary person would not have been able to handle it.
And then Ron said, do you want me to piss on it for you?
Ron, eh?
Love it.
He's earthy.
And this is where we get monolith as a peep show. Someone thinks it's a toilet. Someone thinks it's an escape room. There's a lot of different... My question is the monolith made of polystyrene?
No, because in the damatization, she gave it and she said it was concrete.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did they move it in there?
How do I remember else with no
notes? Yeah, Duncan has just a Red Bull in front of him. Nothing. Not even
just
not a
me
bag.
and my beautiful mind.
Dylan gets the clue from Ron at some stage,
which is amazing because Ron had seemingly just done a mind trick on Dylan, but he has ended up making good his promises.
We got a flashback that he slipped him a clue into his pocket and Dylan goes and opens it with Jesse in the very secret area of the camp. Dame Susan immediately walks past.
She figures out what's going on. I don't know. It's just, again, world champion life.
And I love that you see Dylan and Jesse look scared kind of at the producer and the producer's like, well, you could have gone somewhere more secret.
Almost anywhere.
I love that when you see those David Attenborough moments where the producer's like, I'm not going to intervene here. I'm just going to let nature take its course if these two idiots want to open the note here.
You had a similar moment.
So be it.
You had a similar moment with they were doing it in the moment with Joel, and then Courtney's chatting with Mel, and it's that's just there. Turn left, and you've exposed this fiendish plot.
The timing was wild as well. They were like, "Do you trust Courtney?" And he's like, "Yeah,
hell yeah."
Wait, what's that over there?
It's just awesome. So then we moved on to the Celebrity Treasure Island games, which was another amazing new part of the show. This individual, suddenly everyone's competing for themselves. There's knockout rounds.
You have to dig a big hole?
The first thing was dig a big hole and get under a log. And some people were very fast. Karen O'Leary got stuck upside down like a turtle. And it was so funny.
Yeah, it was.
And good old Jessie Chirk was like, I can't leave her there. She'll be there forever.
Jessie Chirk was made in a lab to scurry under a log.
Perfect.
His total volume is about 30 litres. It's perfect for the show.
He is a whippet, as Mitchism said.
It's exactly what he is, though, Matt.
He is a whippet.
God, I love his commentary. I want to get him to call an All Blacks game.
That's a good idea. Yeah. So he was classy. He was in the lead, but he still went back, freed up Karen, and King shit.
Yeah.
So good. And then I think Taika got the idea where he was like, oh yeah, that was cool. Maybe. And he's like, I'm not winning anyway. Maybe I'll just go back and try and free Dame Susan DeVoy from under this log. So then 8 of them got through. The next battle was The endurance, where they were hanging on a rope on a small disc.
Okay, can I complain about this?
Yeah.
Because I remember the endurance last year, I forget who it was, but it just took forever, and it really looked like by the end of it they were completely wrecked. But this year, all of the endurance challenges have been effectively resolved through, basically a concession and agreement to share the prize, which is, on some level, this is the show evolving, and people who coming on it having watched the show, but I really enjoy an endurance challenge. Well, I don't really enjoy it when it's like 5 minutes in, most of them are eliminated. And,
True.
Those things can be real compelling. So I think they need to figure out a way when they're going into this next year to make it really material for, a win versus a loss in endurance.
I mean, that's also true of all the alliance talk. Very early, there's people are talking too much.
Well, I don't mind the alliance talk because the number of cross alliances means that it's completely nonsensical almost from the jump. But there have to be some major rewards. Yeah, I don't know how you fix it, but great show.
They were in pairs. They got to choose their pairs, but then it was revealed that they were actually going up against the person rather than competing with them. And that was when we got the negotiations about who will go through and what will you give me, blah, blah, blah. My takeaway from this, Champal, very big arms. Did you notice?
Huge arms, yeah. But did you see him he was doing those curls with the log in tribute to Ed?
That's right.
So
I actually saw him as well on the weekend in real life.
Oh, just poor Ed doesn't make your top tier celebrity sightings.
No, sorry, Champal, not Ed. Oh, if I'd seen Ed, forget it. I wouldn't be here. I'd be in the hospital.
Another engagement.
But no, it's Saw Champal. And Dave Farnier, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh. Can't reveal where.
Can't reveal where or why.
But wow.
Wow. So people decide who gets off. Joel and Courtney basically are at loggerheads about what to do.
And there's not a lot of trust there, but as it turns out, there was trust one way and not the other.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
Courtney jumps off. Siobhan makes it through. I can't remember what else happens.
Mel jumps off. Cam jumps off.
This is where Jessie wanted to see what was happening with Courtney and Joel.
Yeah.
That's right.
They clearly wanted Courtney to come through because they, as everyone knows, they have an alliance, because otherwise she wouldn't have put him as captain of Kuaka.
True.
And then she was about to get off, and then he interjects and starts trying to cut deals with Joel to say,
That's
hey,
right.
we won't put you up for elimination this week if you get off and let Courtney go through.
My brain is melting at this point.
Yeah.
Very confusing.
Yeah. But do you think that Courtney's right to be placing so much, be so fearful of Joel? Because I feel like Joel's solid, but he genuinely seems to be yes, I have a PhD, but I'm not a master puzzler. Compared to, say, a Susan Devoy, who seems to be very, very fast at that kind of thing. And he's obviously not as strong as Cribbage. So, they're sort of painting him as this, fierce all-rounder, but I'm not... I sort of feel like that they're getting quite freaked out over the doctor part of his three names.
Joel Maddis. I do think he is playing himself down a lot. I think he's dumbing himself down. He's a professional athlete as well.
Is he?
He was an ice hockey player.
Really?
In the States. That's why he moved to New Zealand to play ice hockey.
But professional?
Well, at the top level you can in this country.
Wow.
We've covered this on the pod.
We've talked about this.
Duncan hasn't been
Great podcast. The real pod.
You should send me a link.
But, and if you actually look at him, you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's tall, he's built, he's, and he's... I think they're right to be scared of him.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they are.
I think he's maybe not the best communicator. Otherwise, he would have solidified this alliance with Courtney a long time ago.
His social game is weak, and he sleeps in.
And he sleeps in.
As we found out.
The anti-dame.
The anti-dame.
I like that about the dame, actually.
That she gets up early?
Yeah, she's got that sort of old person, up at 4 a.m., which is my future. I mean, when I say my future, it's probably got 6 months before that's my normal.
So this is where we get the bit where Courtney goes off and talks with... Basically, they're saying the girls and the gays, is what Cam said.
Oh, yeah.
Take down the big boys league, which is where Joel is having his interview and looks over and goes, maybe I can't trust Courtney as much as I thought I could. A great end to the episode. That was the end of the week. We still haven't found out what's inside the monolith. What is your guess? What is in the monolith? Both of you.
I'm just going to side with Dame Susan on this one.
Peep show?
Yeah.
Real life peep show?
Peep show.
DVD,
DVDs.
season 1.
Season 1 to 5. That's what I've got at home. So I assume it's the same thing.
I hear.
It's The Fourth Intruder. And it's either Chris Parker or it's Casey Franks.
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
So, like, Tall Timber.
Just the first guy who was nominated on the last season.
Or the winner.
Back for Vengeance. Or the winner.
Wow.
And they've been living in there.
Or, no. Wow,
What?
that's really good.
That's my idea.
I like that.
Imagine if they've been living there for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they've just had a bowl of water and a bowl
Toilet
of...
bowl.
Oh, you have to do that, don't you?
3 bowls. Water.
That's rough. And because you can imagine, like, say, a Casey Frank coming out looking quite... And maybe even... No. But still. Do you know what I mean?
Not really.
Like, it could be pretty freaky. The 7-foot...
Coming out of
parachute
the monolith.
fellow.
Pushing it open.
Yeah. Naked as the day he was born.
Okay, I'm going with Casey Frank, Naked as the Day He Was Born, as my vote as well. Very exciting. Should we talk about The Block briefly? Did you watch?
I did watch the last episode.
Outdoor week. Move around the mud.
It's just so funny when they talk about the previous week. It's like, it's stairs and powder room. It's stairs week.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
It's cupboard week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's driveway week on the block. Oh, the driveway's already... I mean, like, and you can really feel the judges just... Because I think there's something about these houses having the least room to play with, in any house in block history. So they're all kind of the same every week as well, plus with the amount of sponsorship that's being sold in. So every week you can sort of feel the Overton window in terms of like what you could possibly do, just sort of slowly closing in.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I guess with the garden, the outdoors, they had more options slightly. But I thought they all look rammed. Like, they were just fucking crammed. That one with the trampoline. Marie and James had, like, giant barbecue, huge chairs, trampoline, lush, like, trees all over the place. I don't know. Too much for me.
Yeah.
Pare it back.
What I feel like Ben and Quinn's outdoor shower that you have to walk through the house and then shower naked in front of about like 30 people.
Having barbecues and bouncing on the trampoline next door. Dylan Schmidt. I just love Ben and Quinn's attitude.
Everything about it, yeah. And then when Ben like requests a pash, nope. Very good,
That's right.
very good. Very like authentic couple expressions.
And it was them that put it, when Quinn was like, I did something I've never done before the other day. I ate a bowl of soup while walking up a hill. Yeah. And I was like, that is interesting.
Only on the block.
But,
But it's not great TV.
Is it? Well, we could have got footage of it. We didn't see the footage.
Yeah, but I'm confident.
But the fact that she's like, she recognises that, she's like, that's something new I've done. That's something I want to communicate. I love that childlike sense of wonder.
Yeah,
May she never lose it. May she also never lose her ongoing obsession with putting pomegranate seeds on everything in every room. Like, when she dresses the room, it's just like sprinkle of pomegranate seeds on whatever dish she's serving up. I just love it.
Yum.
They also put in a giant fire pit, like a Love Island fire pit in the middle of
the scale problem. I'd be so curious to be there at like a debrief meeting for all of the sponsors who are putting in this stuff sort of everywhere and none of it seems to fit. And so there's a lot of like veiled critiques from the judges where they sort of have to say something bad about the sponsor's product while also saying something good about it. It's like, I mean, this is a really great product that is just far too big for this tiny location. Like, you've got your 70-inch outdoor TV, but there's no room for a chair now.
I love the way it can turn to watch TikToks.
Oh, it can turn sort of 45 degrees.
The ground's there. But they're just doing their best.
Everyone's doing their best, but you can feel that the light's gone out a bit with the blockage. I think it might be time for a new franchise. I think it's time for House Rules.
What's the premise of that?
It's just a lot faster and more hectic version of The Block. I actually forget. I watched it. I watched a few episodes to review it a few years ago and was like, this format is... It just has that... It's really frenetic somehow by comparison to The Block, which is saying something because The Block's not chill.
No.
But in Australia, House Rules has overtaken The Block as the premium sort of home improvement type show.
Maybe we should make it. Jason hates the kitty litter of Adam and Stacey in the driveway.
He's rude, but I sort of get it.
I get it too. A cat would.
A cat
would.
It's not a cat would never.
I've seen cats go.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah, I have too. They got that funny little expression they have on their funny little faces.
Don't look at them in the eyes.
No.
When they're doing it.
No.
Freaks them out.
Which is fair.
That is fair.
I'd be the same.
It is fair. I mean, you can get those ones that have a modesty sheath. We're talking about litter boxes now.
Oh, can you?
With like a little igloo that they can go into. And they can, do whatever they want.
So this is kind of what Casey Frank's dealing with up in the monolith.
Anything from Marie and James? No. They would have broke their ankle.
It was
quite emotional. It was emotional.
Is that another, because we had the really brutal concussion last year.
That's right. More injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, Wolf is pretty... God forbid you take your shoes off.
Yeah.
But break your ankles all over the show. 1 week to go. Possibly 2. Possibly 3. We just don't know for sure.
Might already happened. Yeah.
Anything else to say? I think we've done an okay job. We've got to the end of the podcast.
Are you talking about us?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I think we've killed.
Great
We're
pod.
here.
Yeah, great pod.
Any other recommendations? Any shout-outs? I think we'll leave it there.
Lord of the Rings. Watching Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
Leon Wadham.
Great.
Let's shout out Leon Wadham.
Wonderful work.
And Rings of Power. What is his character called?
His character is called...
Wow.
He's a Noomski or something.
Numenorian.
Noomski.
His character is the son of a politician.
Yeah.
He's great. Alex Tarrant, another New Zealand-based actor, is great. Crumb, another dude from Toi Whakaari. Great job. Really wonderful. They play Isildur's mates. Get into it.
Isildur. Love it. Rings of Power. Watch it on Amazon Prime. Help me. We need to finish this.
Nah.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, if you made it this far. Thank you, Jane. Miss you, love you. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you, I hear. We'll see you next week.
Are you curious about how business can be better? I'm Simon Pound, and I host Business is Boring, a podcast where I kōrero with some of the most interesting people in entrepreneurship, commerce, and making things happen. Tune in to Business is Boring every Tuesday, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in partnership with Spark Business Lab.
Kia ora e te iwi, Te Aihe Butler here, podcast manager at The Spin-Off. If you enjoy listening to our podcasts, consider supporting our mahi by signing up to become a Spin-Off member at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The Spin-Off Podcast Network.